Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another week of 2 Point Conversion. I'm John, alongside my co-host Nico, and we got a lot to talk about this week. So no dilly-dallying, we'll right into it. Hockey season started this week already,
Started
right on
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
yes. Yeah,
So
Tuesday. There was, I think, 3 games Tuesday, 3 games yesterday, a couple games tonight.
exciting. And so personally, I've never been really a hockey fan, but Nico's been a good ambassador for the
Yeah,
sport.
I mean, hey, it was like 186 days where I couldn't breathe half the day, where it was just like baseball and I want to cry myself to sleep because the Yankees are terrible. But hockey's back. Best time of the year is back. Let's go Islanders, and the Rangers are going to be okay, I guess.
Yeah. So Nico, why don't you take us into it? Our two New York teams, how their off season kind of went, and what you expect from them this upcoming season.
So I would say regarding both teams, it was lackluster. I mean, there wasn't huge moves. Some people say, "Oh, these are good depth moves. These are good, like piece moves." Sure. So the Rangers lost two of their key players. I remember I brought it up to you last season that they had Patrick Kane and they
Who
had
they traded
who
for,
they
right? Yeah.
traded for, and Tarasenko, who they also traded for. Two veteran players who, you know, are, I would say, greats of our generation. I would say. Patrick Kane, probably the best American-born player in the NHL history. But they lost them. Free agency came. They were both unrestricted free agents. So Vladimir Tarasenko signed with the Ottawa Senators, and Patrick Kane, believe it or not, even though he is the best American-born player, he's a free agent still. No one signed him. No one wants to take on a contract for him, or the way the salary cap works this year. It's a really strict, hard cap. So people are having a hard time
And because he's
maneuvering
a
their way.
veteran and of his past, he's due a little bit more money.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
how that
yeah.
works?
He'll
Like,
be so. The thing with Patrick Kane is you're not only just like these, players in the, NFL and stuff. You're not like Aaron Rodgers. You're not only buying the player, you're also buying the leadership of the player, the wisdom, his insight into the game.
so is it that the fact that he's not willing to settle for like a veteran minimum is
N-
he knows his worth? He kind of wants.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. I mean, no team really. I mean, he might be on the verge of retirement, but I think again, it's still too soon for him. But still, no one assigned him. They couldn't re-sign him. They didn't have the money or the space for him, and that wasn't in the future of the team. So they have a new head coach, Peter Laviolette, veteran coach, has coached pretty much every team in the division. Like he coached the Islanders in the early 2000s. He went to Carolina, won a Stanley Cup there. The Flyers, the Predators, the Capitals. He's been to the Stanley Cup 3 times,
He's
like I
been
said.
around. Yeah,
Hey, he's been
around.
around. Been to the Stanley Cup 3 times. Won in 2006 with the Hurricanes. Um, so they're kind of just, I guess, I would say not starting new, like rebuilding, but switching. They're
And
staying away from
correct
the
me if
older
I'm wrong, but the
characters.
Islanders and the Rangers were both playoff teams last year, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So
So
the Rangers lost in uh the first round to the Devils,
remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
and the Islanders lost to the Hurricanes.
Hurricanes went on to make it to the Stanley Cup, right? Or
No,
the round before,
the round before it, yeah.
the conference
The
championship.
conference, yeah.
Okay.
So the Rangers have put their hope in two of their young players who are, in my opinion, I mean, one's very good, one's I don't really like too much, but both 2-year contracts for Alexis Lafreniere and another one for Keandre Miller, one a defenseman, one a forward.
Okay.
They got Lafreniere, like, I mean, 4 years ago now, I would say 5 years ago, and he was number 1 draft pick, round 1, pick 1. He was supposed to be the next stud. He hasn't really turned out to be that. He's a good player, but he's not really that
Okay.
number 1
Okay.
overall status. So they re-signed them, and they picked up Jonathan Quick, who is a veteran goalie, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time with the Blackhawks, 1 with the Golden Knights last year.
So do the Rangers still have Shesterkin? They still
They
have
do.
him?
So they're working it in a tandem. The way like hockey is kind of pushed more is like you're not rocking with one goalie for the
Okay.
entire season. You'll either do 50-50 split, 60-40 split,
Give the
or
guy a chance to rest. Is it
yeah,
like a health thing
so
or
like and sometimes part of the season they have back-to-back games, so they'll play one and then sit the other.
Okay, got it.
And they'll do that. So Jonathan Quick comes in as Shesterkin's backup, which is a big upgrade from
I
who they
recognize
had.
that name. Yeah, Jonathan Quick. That sounds like a name. Yeah,
I
it's
mean
been around the
we're
league.
talking about the 2012 to 2014 Blackhawks. Like Patrick Kane was on that team. Jonathan Taves, who just retired this year, but very good. He's in his age.
Okay.
I think he's mid 30s. But good depth, like I said. They also picked up. They also have a. I'll go over prospects after I talk about the Islanders.
Yeah,
But
no problem. I like it so far.
so not huge changes, big losses, but not huge additions. And they're kind of just they're making small moves. They have a couple of new players, but um, the key is that they lost those two players in Patrick Kane and Tarasenko.
Okay.
So for the Islanders, who the Rangers start tonight at 7 o'clock against the Sabres, the Islanders play the Sabres on Saturday for their first game.
Okay.
So the Islanders, obviously my wheelhouse, we're pretty much the same team. We let go of the guy I hate the most and the guy I love them. I mean, I do love him, but I hate him the most. Josh Bailey, lifelong Islander, never moved, drafted them, and is probably going to retire as one since he's not getting picked up. So we let him go. Contract ended. Be on his way. He's terrible. Zach Parise, I love him. He's probably on the verge of retirement. We also let him go, and he's not signing with anyone. He's said that they left kind of an opening for him to come back to the team in the middle of the season if we do need help.
Okay.
So someone asked the GM, Lou Lamoriello, if he would what they were doing in the Zach Parise, and he was like, he's staying home now, but we might need him later, and we could sign him. He's probably not signing with anyone else.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
this kind of feels like, yeah, like relatable to other sports. I mean, there are guys in football. I feel like every year in football, there's always like a corner or a running back that stays in shape. Will tell teams, I'll be ready if you need
Yeah.
me. So that's looking to me like a little more common.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
hockey
yeah.
as
So
well.
he last season he kind of on the last game when we lost in the playoffs, there was a report that he was sitting in his locker room and like head down, and he knew it was the end for him. So he chose like I'm pretty sure he's closer to retirement than returning.
Okay.
But there's a possibility, and they put that out there. So we also have signed a depth forward in Julien Gauthier. He is, like I said, depth. I mean, he's like he's gonna be like a bottom two, a bottom six forward probably. Like I wouldn't put him anywhere in the high lines. Maybe like line 3, line 4. I'm not sure, but not a huge ad, like I said. But the Islanders did something that the Rangers did not. The Rangers signed 2 players, obviously, to those 2-year contracts. I said, Islanders went big. Scott Mayfield, defenseman Scott Mayfield, 7 years. Forward Pierre Engvall, 7 years. Our backup goaltender, 4 years.
Wow. Okay.
And our starting goaltender, 8 years.
So they believe in these guys and they're willing to lock up these guys.
I agree with most of what they signed. I agree with the Pierre Engvall signing. We picked him up last year, right? He was great. He was great in the second half of the season. He was great in the playoffs. I'm a big fan of him. He's a big dude, very fast. I talked about him for a while on that show that when we first got him. Varlamov, our backup goaltender, he's a solid backup. I mean, I would say that we have the best goalie tandem in the league, backup and starter. So 4 years is good. And the only one I have a problem, I mean, Sorokin, 8 years is great. He is the best goalie in the league.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, he's the best goalie in the league. Some people may say the guy in Boston just because of what they did last year, and he won the Vezina Trophy, which is the best goalie award. But in my opinion, and I think in a lot of the league's opinion, Sorokin is the best goalie in the league. The only one I don't like, Scott Mayfield. I don't want to talk about him. He's not really that good, and 7 years is kind of a lot for someone.
No, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited. And there was one thing you were mentioning to me outside before we got started on the show that the NHL is going to try a red zone type format to get people interested in watching the sport.
I don't know how it's going to work. They only have one date scheduled.
Okay.
It's only the one date. It's October 24th. They're only having so on that day they specifically scheduled 32 teams playing. So 16 games.
Everyone's playing.
Okay, on
interesting.
Tuesday, every single team is playing. And on ESPN2 with one of the NHL announcers, John Buccigross, they're going to have a red zone. They're calling it like Frozen Frenzy, which is kind of corny.
Right.
It's kind of corny, but I don't know how they're going to do it, especially like because you brought it up to me, like how are they going to do it with like offensive, defensive switches like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see, but for someone like me, or for maybe some of the people who listen to our show who aren't as big hockey fans, this could be a way for us to kind of get into the sport, learn more about the league.
100%. You know I think that's what they're doing. They don't have any other dates scheduled, but I think a lot of people are going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to watch it, and I think that they'll add another date. I don't know when. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm
Yeah, it'll be
definitely.
interesting to
I
see.
mean, I'm
So
definitely gonna turn
October
it on.
24th. I'll mark that on the calendar. Tuesday
Yeah,
night.
watch it.
Yeah, I'll check it
I
out.
mean, for those people who don't like the sport, or forget about don't like the sport, have interest in the sport and haven't really watched it, I think it's a good way to like open.
Awesome. And I have one more hockey question for you before we move on to football.
Yeah.
Expectations for the Rangers and Islanders this year. Like I said before, they were both playoff teams last year. Nico, are they ready to make that push to the next level? Would the playoffs again be a good mark to hit, or are we looking at a team maybe that's starting to rebuild a little bit? What are the expectations?
I think I think for both of them, the floor again. I mean, when you come off a season that you make the playoffs, the floor is always again the playoffs.
Mhm.
So the floor is the playoffs. I don't think either team really has it in them to win a Stanley Cup
Okay.
yet. They might be. I mean, they might be building towards one, but I mean, like I have written down here, the prospects. The Rangers prospects are great. They have their key one is Brendan Outman. He's very good. Prospects for the Islanders have Matt Maggio, Willem Dafoe, like Isaiah George, who we just signed, who's not really our top 5, but still very good. Give him time. I don't think it's this year, but definitely playoffs.
Okay. All right.
Definitely
So
playoffs.
it's close. The window is coming up.
It's more open than previous years in the East, but it's going to be rough. I think there's still by far better teams in the East, like the Hurricanes, and the Devils, who probably have a better chance.
And then while we're on hockey, all I've been seeing hockey is Connor Bedard. Are you buying the hype or is it too much? What's
Forget
going on?
about buying the hype. I'm sold.
Yeah,
Sold.
already?
He is. I'm sitting there. Me and my brother, and then me and my girlfriend and her dad were sitting down, and oh my god, he feels comfortable. He looks comfortable. He doesn't look weak. He doesn't look slow. I mean, he's fast. He's a short kid. I think he's like 5'9", which is short kind of for hockey, but he's big. He's a big dude. He's wide. He's got muscle on him. He's strong on the puck. Fast. He has confidence, and like they won that first game. I wouldn't say because of him, but they won they played twice already, which is weird because the Rangers haven't played and the Islanders haven't played, but they played twice already. They lost yesterday to the Bruins and won their first game. He looks good.
All right, good.
He
So
looks really good.
I've been hearing
keep
a lot
an
of
eye
hype
on it.
around him, so I'll have to keep an eye on him.
If you guys know anything about him, keep an eye on him. I mean, it's hard to miss. The NHL is only promoting him because
Really,
like,
they've really been
I
pushing
mean,
him a lot.
it's
Yeah.
the golden boy. I mean,
Yeah.
like he's number one. He was always going number one. Whoever was the worst team last year was getting him. The
Mhm.
Blackhawks got him. So keep an eye out. He is as advertised.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah. So moving on to football now. We'll start off with
And
the
he's only
Giants.
18.
He's only 18.
Only
Really?
18.
Wow.
He's 18 in like 18 years, 81 days.
Wow. Yeah, that's.
I mean, I got 2 years on the kid.
that's crazy.
And look what I'm doing.
That's nuts. All right, so moving on to football. Start off with the Giants. Giants lost 31-16 against the Dolphins, and they fall to 1-4 on the year. A lot of fans are understandably disappointed with the regression they've seen from the Giants this year, and I totally get that. I can't be mad at the fans, or I'm kind of getting tired of standing up and defending the Giants all the time. Like, I get it. I am one of those disgruntled fans from going from winning a divisional game in the playoffs to 1-4. No hope, really. Like, I mean, I don't know when they're going or what they're going to do to turn this season around. So, I mean, I understand that they've been without Andrew Thomas and Saquon Barkley, 2 very big guys. But Nico, at the end of the day, that's only 2 guys. And what does that say about the rest of the roster? When you're 1-4, you're going to say, oh, it's because we're missing 2 guys. Like, that's not an acceptable excuse in my books. Nico, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Giants loss to the Dolphins and kind of where they stand right now.
Listen, I 100% agree. I'm not too far into the sell everything, get rid of Daniel Jones, get the first round pick, get Kalen Williams, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sold into that just because of the strength of our schedule. Yes, our offensive line is bad, and yes, I'm really not confident in any of our playmakers to do anything.
Yeah.
But we have to look at it like this. I mean, we're talking Niners, Dolphins, Cowboys, or Bills this week. I mean, Seahawks, who were fringe playoff, but the only team that was the only team that wasn't a playoff team was the Cardinals, and then we came back and beat them. But it's hard to say right now. This Bills game is going to be rough, especially
tough,
if Daniel Jones does not play with his neck contusion.
I mean, I have it in the notes here. The Bills are coming off a loss to the Jaguars. You know they're going to be fired up. It's in Buffalo, right?
Yeah,
in Buffalo, prime time. We know Daniel Can't win in prime time. We don't even know if Daniel's going to be playing.
Yeah.
He's got a neck injury. Based on the reports I've been reading, it looks like Andrew Thomas will not play either, and Darren Waller should play. Saquon could be back, but I don't know what to tell you, folks. It's been pretty disappointing.
I think the problem with what they did in the I put it up into the offseason. I'm not putting it on Daniel Jones because that's not fair. When you get hit 15 times a game, I'm not talking about sacks. Sacks are 8 sacks, 7 sacks.
Still second most sack quarterback in the league.
I mean, that's a lot. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pressures, and I'm talking about hits. When he lets go of the ball and he gets hit, that takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
He has 1.2 seconds to get rid of the ball, and then he lets go of the ball, throws it, and then gets cracked.
Yeah.
And then the next play, what is he supposed to do? Get cracked again? No, he's playing scared. He's not playing smart. Yeah, he's not playing up to his potential, but how could you?
Yeah, I get it.
Put any quarterback behind there. How could you?
You'd be running for their lives.
Yeah, how could you?
Running for their lives.
I think the problem is set up to the season. I don't think, as much as we gave praise to Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, I don't think they did enough because we had not good offensive line, but we were really only complaining about Evan Neal.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a couple of moving parts, but you just look at, like, I saw the thing this morning or yesterday. Our old guard, John Feliciano,
is playing fantastic
in front of Brock Purdy in San Francisco.
Yeah, I know.
So what is wrong
upsetting
with us? Is it our lineman coach? Is it the way we prepare? Like what we just thought we were going to come out here with 5 rookie linemen and just
I don't know.
Perform?
That's a good question. I don't know who to point the finger at. Like on one hand,
it has to be a Joe Schoen. I think it has to.
On one hand, I feel for Daniel Jones, and I know he's running for his life. But Nico, I've been defending this kid in group chats to my friends from other cities for 4.5 years.
Yes, but I understand that.
I'm just kind of tired of it. Like,
you're not. It's not defending him at this point. You're not defending him. He's not playing good.
Yeah.
But how could you play good?
Very well said. Very well said.
You're not defending him. He's not playing good. Yes. How could you play good in this scenario? Who's he throwing the ball to? Paris Campbell? The guy is terrible.
I know. He really
Paris Campbell was the worst signing we ever had. I understand he gets yak, but he doesn't here.
I feel so dumb for getting excited about that free.
I mean, up until last
Giants Twitter brainwashed me. They're like, we're getting someone who's so fast. Daniel Jones has playmakers now. Dude,
no one can get open.
It's terrible.
No one can get open. Darren Waller is the only person who gets open because he's running 3-yard digs.
And the scheme is terrible. I feel like every pass is 5 yards. Teams know how to defend us.
Especially with the run game struggling as it is because our linemen are so bad. I think the huge problem is scheme. I mean, we're chucking it. But again, what can you do? What can you do? How do you play a scheme how do you give your quarterback a scheme where he has 1 second and then he's hit? We can't run the ball because the linemen are terrible. No, the wide receivers aren't getting open. So what do you call?
All right, I have 2 questions for you.
Sweeps? I'll call sweeps. Give Paris Campbell a sweep. He'll get lit up. I
got 2 questions for you.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
He didn't have Paris Campbell did not have a first down reception, like for a first down, for the 4 weeks this season. He got one last year. He got one last week.
He's got one catch for a first down
this year.
Yeah,
because
terrible.
They keep on dumping the ball off to him, expecting him to get yak when he's not. He's getting cracked. I'm so angry.
2 questions for you. First question. I don't want to spend all day on these either because I do have a lot of other stuff I want us to get to. But first question is, what do we do with Evan Neal right now? Because he's obviously not getting it done at right tackle. Do we give him a chance at guard? Because, Nico, if this continues for the rest of the season, I'm in no way okay with him being our starting right tackle for next season. I would be so mad at Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll for bringing that guy back for next season after what he's put on tape this year. And also, like what do you do with this guy? Because I really just don't think it can continue at right tackle. I think, do you give him a chance at guard? Do you bench him? What do you do with Evan Neal?
So we're talking about a player who is a left tackle. Okay. Evan Neal is a left tackle. Let's not get it mistaken. He is a left tackle. He was a left tackle in college. He should not be on the right side. Then again, he is not good at football. He's not. And let him call me a burger flipper all he wants. If he starts next season, I'm an Eagle fan. The guy is terrible. Sit him. Get him off my team. I hate him not only to be terrible, not only to have terrible first 2 seasons, whatever, in the league, he is not good, but then to turn his anger and hatred to the fans.
That was really upsetting.
We didn't talk about it
disappointing,
last week because
immature.
we didn't have a show.
Yeah.
He called the fans burger flippers or hot dog flippers or whatever. You
Yeah.
can't even flip a hot dog, but I get it. We're sheep, he's lying. He went on. Brian Daboll should have looked him in the eyes and said, "Listen, here's everything. Don't come into the building. Don't even bring him back. If he comes back next year as right tackle, we're
I'm
lost."
done. No, I'm an Eagles fan with you. I'm an Eagles fan with you.
Maybe not an Eagles fan. I'll be a Lions fan because I like the Lions, but there's no point. There's no point. Give up on him.
He's been so disappointing,
There's
and
no
I get
point.
it. He's a young guy, and that interview that he had where he called the fans burger flippers and whatnot, he was angry at himself, and he misdirected that anger. But how can you say that? The people in the stadium who are selling
paying
burgers
you.
and hot dogs are doing that, and you're getting paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They're selling overpriced burgers and hot dogs to pay your salary, and you can't block.
It was honestly.
He has no third step. You watch the film. I watched Bobby Skinner on Twitter.
I told you. No third step.
No third step. 1, 2 guys by him.
You know why? Because he panics.
He's got
I'll tell you
no
he panics.
third step.
We're going to sound like such nerds right now to anyone who doesn't know ball, but I'll tell you right now, he has no third step. When you're a right tackle, you take 2 steps, two steps horizontal, and then take a third step horizontal and jab. Push him off. Every time Evan Neal gets worked around, he takes a second step, crosses his legs, falls over, or trips, or gets run around on. He's terrible. He's not getting to his progressions. He's not getting to his marks. He is not good. He panics. He doesn't have the mindset. He doesn't have the skills. He's athletic, sure, but his mind is not there. He's blocking Darren Waller. I mean, we're running screenplays, and Evan Neal is blocking his own tight end.
Terrible. I know it's been really bad. There's no good way to phrase it, to put it. He needs to do something quick if he wants to keep his job with the Giants. The comments he made last week only make it worse. My next question for you, Nico, which you touched on this a little bit earlier, so I'm going to give you my thoughts real quick, and then I want to hear what you have to say. For the rest of the season, I'm at the point where I think the Giants should be sellers at the trade deadline. Guys like Saquon Barkley, D lineman Leonard Williams, and possibly cornerback Adoree Jackson. I think we get some draft picks. We let Joe Schoen try and work some magic with those draft picks. We start to rebuild, maybe get a high draft pick for ourselves from this season. But I'm also a little scared of that too, because the 2 picks that Joe Schoen made in the first round last year have not lived up to their potential. Kayvon's looked a little bit better of late, but Evan Neal, I'm this close to being up labeling him a bust.
No,
so,
I would go beyond that and say he is a bust.
And then
but
in addition to that, what scares me even more, Nico, is not scares me, but it's just a downside because of contract reconstruction. If Leonard Williams or Adoree Jackson played for the Giants next year or not, if they're on another team, the Giants still owe them $9 million each because of contract reconstruction. So you imagine we're going to be paying out $18 million to 2 guys who might not even be on the Giants.
I would say I would agree with the Leonard Williams move. I would. I don't think this line is really getting to anything, and that does have to do with scheme, sure. I do think Kayvon's improving. Let him improve. Let him be a star.
Okay.
I mean, I like him. Let him be a star. Let him do his, his theatrics, his dances, or his, where he dresses up and stuff like that. Let him do it. We need a player like that with personality because we've never had that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
been a while. It's been a while.
So I do think Leonard Williams has been lacking. He is good on the run game, but I do think he's slacking a little bit, especially for the money that we're paying him. I don't think Xavier McKinney is having a good time either. It's hard to say. Saquon should not be a part of this team next year as much as we need him.
I agree. It's time to move on.
Listen, as much as we need him, it's time to go because what is it? His 5th season, 4 injuries. He's played 1 full season.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's rookie year. And last year.
He missed like 3 games, no?
No, he played most of the games. Maybe he missed 1. But he turned into good last year in a contract year. But no, yeah. I mean, the Giants, best case scenario for Saquon Barkley, they find a contender who needs a running back, and they're able to get some value back for Saquon, because I don't think he's going to be a member of the Giants next year, whether we trade him
forget
or we
about
lose him in
being a
free
member. He
agency.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be a member just because of he's injury prone. He's a running back. He's getting up to that. I mean, running back age. What is he? 26.
Yeah, 26, 27.
Yeah, I mean, how many running backs are you seeing that are above the age of 27?
Not a ton. No,
Not a ton.
They don't exist.
I mean,
that
we're
much
looking at
anymore.
all these new running backs coming out this year. We're talking about the best running backs in the league. Karen Williams, who is a young player.
Brian Robinson.
I mean, Bijan, who's
Bijan,
a young
Bijan, yeah.
Bijan, who is
Brian Robinson's having a good season too.
Brian
yeah.
Robinson's having all right.
Breece Hall.
I don't like the Commanders. Breece Hall is picking up from last week. Players like Zach Moss are coming in the place of those running backs that we know.
Yeah.
And performing. I mean, the only veteran running back I can really, or semi-veteran running back that I can really think that is performing pretty well is David Montgomery, and that's just because the Lions' O-line is pretty good.
And also to kind of expand on that point, like how many running backs are at that age live up to their contracts? The only guy that comes to mind for me is McCaffrey. The 49ers paid him, and yeah, he's been a dog, but he was a guy too who struggled a lot with injuries. Carolina Panthers traded him, got a lot in return.
McCaffrey is a unicorn.
Yeah, he is.
He's a unicorn, receiving, running. He could do it all. Perform wherever he performed in Carolina. He's performing.
I don't think Saquon's that far off from McCaffrey.
I disagree.
Yes, McCaffrey's a tier up from him, but
I disagree. I don't think it's anything close. I really don't. I'm sorry. I mean, McCaffrey,
maybe a little recency bias, but dude, Saquon went for over 2,000 scrimmage yards his rookie year.
Absolutely, but he isn't that player anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can't say that he's not that player anymore.
Enough.
From injury, sure, he's shifty, and maybe it's of where he is in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Christian McCaffrey's on a different tier. I mean, he is as much as a receiving back as anyone, and as much as a running back as anyone.
Yeah,
he's a great player.
Yeah, fair enough. So
Unicorn.
I have two bright spots from the Dolphins game. It was pretty cool to see Jason Pinnock, 102-yard interception return for a touchdown. He got to show off his speed. That was cool to see. He was a guy who
he kind of runs a little wonky. Didn't you see that?
Long strides.
Yeah, he's got long strides.
Like
one of these.
Yeah,
I mean, like.
And Darren Waller had his best game as a Giant. He had 8 catches for 86 yards. Still no touchdowns for my guy yet, but
I mean, we can't get into the red zone. So, what do you expect from him?
All right, no, moving on. That's all I got for the Giants. Final note: they are 14-point underdogs against.
I mean, okay, let's get real for a second before you open up this new thing, because I don't even want to look at it. I honestly don't even want to look at it.
Really, I'm excited to talk about the Jets.
I see the Jets. If you come into this conversation saying Zach Wilson is reborn.
No, I'm not.
Or if you come into this conversation saying anything about the Jets making the playoffs, pushing. No. If you're going to sit here and say the Jets are going to make the playoffs, they beat the Denver Broncos. That's it.
And the Bills.
Okay, they beat the Bills week 1. That was an anomaly. Josh Allen is terrible. But then look, after that, Josh Allen went on and won 4 straight games.
Well, at least hear me out, Nico.
No, I'm not going to hear you out.
I'm not going to say that they're going to make the playoffs. I'm just going to pose a few questions and scenarios for our viewers and for you to think about. So I'll start it off. Jets beat the Broncos 31-21 in Denver.
After Russell Wilson fumbled his 2-minute drill.
Okay. They improved to 2-3 on the season with the hardest part of their schedule almost behind them.
James, you hear this guy?
They have to play the Eagles this week, but I think a 2-3 record without Aaron Rodgers is pretty impressive considering the teams that they've played. Keep in mind, folks, they've played the Bills. They've played the Chiefs.
You like the Jets?
They've played...
He's a Giant fan. Don't point at him. You're a Jet fan? That's sad. Keep going. Sorry.
So I didn't list all the teams that they've played, but they had they played the Bills, they won that game. They played the Cowboys, lost that game. Played the Chiefs. Okay, the only bad loss I see here, Nico, is to the Patriots. That's the only bad loss I see, and I see a good win on there. I see one good win, one bad loss. Okay,
they lost to the Patriots.
They're 2-3. They have the Eagles this weekend. Okay, Nico, but let's look ahead, Nico. So the Jets are 2-3 right now. Let's look at their next 5 games and see what we think their record will be.
But here, put this. I really want you to respect me and respect my opinion. Okay,
go for it.
I want you to go into this not thinking Zach Wilson is reborn or Zach Wilson is playing better.
He is playing better. You can't dispute that he's not playing better.
He's not.
He played
He's not.
his heart out against the Chiefs.
He had
they lost
4
by
drives.
3. They
He
lost
had
by
4
3 to the Chiefs.
Because Patrick Mahomes was playing terrible. He has 4 good drives in the past 2 games. 4. He played 3 of them were against the Chiefs, and one of them was against the Broncos. The Broncos are garbage.
Okay, but you know what I said earlier?
I mean, they're gonna lose to the Eagles, right?
A couple weeks ago, you know what I said? I said the Jets roster is good enough. They don't need Zach Wilson to be a hero every week. He can be a game manager.
You're absolutely
correct.
He
can be a game manager.
You're absolutely correct. But the defense is great. The defense is good, not great.
They're close to great.
They're not.
They're close to
good,
that upper
not
echelon.
Great. They're good, not great. They
let
the Broncos put up 21 points.
They're
good,
3
not
fumbles.
great. They let the Patriots beat them.
But they only scored 15 points. That's not on the defense.
I understand
That's not on the defense.
The Patriots are not good though. The Saints just shut them out.
I know. No, and I acknowledge that that's a bad loss. But they also have a good win to cancel that out.
Let's bring it to your first 5 weeks, your next 5 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, Eagles, that's a loss.
That's a loss. So they're 2-4.
They're going into they come home or they're away, but they come to MetLife against the Giants.
They're beating the Giants.
I disagree with that.
They're beating the Giants.
I disagree with that. If Saquon and Andrew Thomas are back,
Giants fan,
I disagree with that.
As a Giants fan, Nico,
John,
they are beating the Giants.
John,
Nico, they are gonna sack us 20 times,
John,
dude. Who's blocking these guys?
They don't have a good offensive line either. And if you don't think Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau are going to get to Zach Wilson,
they have Quinn Williams.
Yeah, I understand that. No, I give their defense full credit.
Stud cornerback.
I give their defense full credit. One problem they've had in this season is against the run. If Saquon is back and Andrew Thomas is back, we have a better advantage. I don't think that's an easy enough win as people think it is.
I think okay, all right. Okay.
I don't think it's easy enough win as people think it is.
You have them right now after the next 2 games.
As 2,
you think they're going to be 2-5. 2-5.
The next 2 games are 0-2. Yes, 2-5.
I have them at 1-1
against the Chargers. You think they're beating the Chargers?
They're beating the Chargers.
You think they're beating the Chargers?
Beating the Chargers at home.
If Austin
MetLife is going to be rocking, they're beating the Chargers at home.
If Austin Eckler's back, they're beating the Chargers.
Chargers lost Mike Williams.
If
Herbert's got a broken finger,
you're not answering my question. If Austin,
they still beat him. You are underestimating the heck out of this defense, dude.
If Austin, you're right, I am because they're not that good.
The Chiefs' offense is better than the Chargers' offense, and what they hold the Chiefs to 23 points. They held the Chiefs to 23 points.
Patrick Mahomes did not have a good game. If you think that they're gonna go in and beat the Giants, no. If you think they're gonna go in and beat the Giants and then go back home and beat the Chargers, you're out of your mind.
I really don't think that's that crazy.
You think they're gonna beat the Raiders?
I don't think that's that crazy to say.
They might only beat the Raiders.
We need someone in the comments to tell me right now that that's maybe I'm crazy, but I really don't think that's crazy to say.
I don't think it's insane. I don't think it's insane, but I don't think it's an easy win.
I know it's a little off topic, but what have the Chargers done this year that's given you faith in them, dude?
They've been out. They had
Aren't they 2-3 also?
They had one. They're really only one good game with Austin Eckler. He's coming back. He's been hurt for 5 weeks. I mean, we're talking about the best running back in the league besides Christian McCaffrey. Austin Eckler is a dog.
So the Chargers are 2-2.
They had a bye week, I believe.
They lost to the Titans, and they let the Dolphins drop 36 on them. Okay?
The Dolphins. We'll keep going. We've only been through what?
Who are their 2 wins?
4 weeks.
The Raiders and the Vikings.
Wait,
but the 2 wins are the Raiders and the Vikings.
Let's talk about it. I have a question.
The Chargers are supposed to be what?
You think
they beat the Raiders and the Vikings?
You think after the Chargers, they're going to beat the Raiders? You think they're winning 3 straight? You're going to sit here and say the New York Jets are going to win.
The New York Jets are going to win 3 in a row. All right.
That's absurd.
A couple weeks from now, you're going to be apologizing to me on the show.
Let's just say. So what's their record after that?
So they are 2-4, 3-4, 4-4, 5-4.
5-4?
Yeah, if my math
let's just say they're 5-4. Let's just say
5-4, and then they lose to the Bills.
The Jets, who have never done this in our lifetime, are going to win 3 straight games. Let's just say that. They go to Buffalo. That's an L. They have Dolphins at home. That's a loss. They have Falcons, who they're probably going to lose to because Bijan.
Sorry, I didn't have that far ahead. Are you talking about after the Bills? They're playing?
After the Raiders, it's the Bills.
They're going to lose that game. They're going to be 5-5, and I think that's a respectable record. They're going to lose that game.
Okay, Falcons.
They're going to win that game.
How? How are you going to say they're going to win that game when Bijan is a dog. Desmond Ridder is actually playing better than most people think.
Okay, he had one good week. He had a good week last week. I don't think that the Jets.
Okay.
I think you're Nico. We got to talk about you're severely underestimating the Jets defense, dude.
You're severely severe. You're saying I'm underestimating them.
Okay,
you're overestimating
the most. Okay, the most points they've allowed this year was 30 to the Cowboys.
Let's just say that
they were defeated in that game. That's a bad loss. They held the Chiefs to 23 points, and I think the Chiefs' offense is better than the Chargers.
Let's just say this, right? But you're basing it off one game where Patrick Mahomes did not play well.
I'm basing it off the last 2 games.
Okay, a well-played Patrick Mahomes is dusting the Jets. Dusting.
But why didn't he play well? Because the Jets defense is good.
No, it was not a good game.
What, did his tummy hurt? Like, what's your excuse for he didn't play well?
I don't know.
Because the Jets defense was prepared and they're good.
But let's just say, right? What are they? 5-4 going into Buffalo. 5-5.
5-5.
Dolphins
at week 10.
5-6. You think they beat the Falcons? So 6-6, right? They beat the Texans?
They beat the Texans.
Okay, 7-6. Dolphins again. Loss.
L.
Commanders. Loss.
Win.
Loss.
Win.
Dude.
Win.
Dude,
okay. Did the Commanders just get scrubbed by the Bears?
That was absurd, by the way. That's insane. I mean, Browns.
Probably loss.
Patriots.
Win.
What? They lost. They haven't beat the Patriots in 15 years.
They're going to beat them this time.
They haven't beat them this time. This is what every Jet fan has been saying. Look at James laughing back there.
So what's the record at the end of that? 9-8? 9-8?
The Jets haven't beat the Patriots in 15 years.
What's the record? 9-8?
I don't even know. I don't agree with half those answers.
I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs,
I don't think
Nico.
they're beating the Chargers. I don't think they're beating the Giants. And I really don't think they're beating the Raiders either.
I think you're way too high on the Chargers, dude. I like Justin Herbert too. He's my fantasy quarterback. But Nico, the guy doesn't win a ton of games, man. No. He's got a golden
He does
arm.
win a ton of games. This year's been pretty bad. This year's not been good.
I think he's made the playoffs. I don't think he's made the playoffs.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Dude, no.
He made the wild card. What are you talking about?
Okay. Maybe he made the wild card. He's never made. Dude, I remember one year was this last year or the year before? It was Chargers Raiders. If they tied, they both would have made it, and they choked.
2 years ago.
And they choked.
That was 2 years ago.
He already lost Mike Williams, his number 2 wide receiver. Eckler's been injured.
He's got Keenan Allen.
I'm just telling you facts, dude. I'm just telling you the facts.
You're telling me facts, but I don't agree. I don't think.
And their defense is scrubs.
I mean, but seriously, let's get serious before we.
They just traded J.C. Jackson back to the Patriots for pennies on the dollar.
Let's be serious before you get blow up, right? When was the last time you remember hearing the Jets win 3 straight games? When was the last time? You think Zach Wilson is going to do that?
They started last year like 6-2.
What? They didn't win. I don't think they won 3 straight.
They started last year like 6-2, dude. They started last year very hot.
Let's see.
Also, Nico, you're at the hardest part of their schedule after this week is done with. After they play the Eagles this week,
they got the
Giants, Chargers, Raiders.
The Chargers aren't a bad team.
They're not a bad team, but they're a beatable team. They're a beatable team.
If we go into this week,
MetLife's going to be rocking.
For the Giants.
For the Chargers game.
Oh. If the Giants and the Jets play.
Fired up.
If the Giants and the Jets play and the Giants win, what happens? Do you give up? Do they beat the Chargers still? Do they beat the Raiders still?
I mean, you're throwing so many ifs, ands, and buts at me.
So are you. You're throwing ifs, ands, and buts. You're saying if the Jets beat the Giants, then the Giants.
Let's see what Ryan says. Ryan says wild card competition is going to be Steelers. I disagree. Chargers, they could be in it. Colts, they could be in it. Browns and Bengals. None of these teams. So you have the Ravens winning the division, I guess. Then Ryan, is that why the Browns and Bengals are wild card teams?
I mean,
none of these teams are going to be scared of the Jets. But to be honest, the Jets shouldn't be scared of any of these teams yet. The way they've been playing.
I mean, we're basing it off 2 weeks.
With that statement. I don't think the Jets should be scared of any of these teams. The Jets should not be scared of the Steelers, not scared of the Chargers, not scared of the Colts, not scared of the Browns or the Bengals.
John, you're talking based off 2 weeks. Okay, they lost to the Chiefs. Sure, they kept it close, but they didn't win. They lost.
Yes.
And then they beat the worst team in the past 15 years. The Broncos are terrible.
The Panthers are still worse than the Broncos.
No, they're not. The Broncos let up.
We're going to get to the Broncos in a minute. We're going to get to the Broncos in a minute because they play tonight. We're going to get to the Broncos.
I tell you this right now. No, I can't. I can't let this go. There's no way you guys are. They're like, oh, they played good. You lost to the Patriots, who are terrible. You lost to the Cowboys. You lost to the Bills. You beat the Bills.
Beat the Bills.
You beat the Bills.
Beat the Bills.
Right. We're talking about a loss by 3 points to the Chiefs, like you won the game. You didn't.
Can I
You
point out?
lost.
Can I point out a trend?
You
to
lost.
Nico,
Patrick Mahomes played terrible, and probably his worst game of his career, and he still beat you. He probably did. He probably played his worst game of his career and still beat them.
I think the refs robbed him in that game too, but that's a conversation.
That's a conversation for another day. But you beat the Broncos. Russell Wilson fell over a grass that was too tall for him and tripped over and fumbled the ball. And that's the only reason. They could have lost. Dude, they could have lost to the Broncos.
Breece Hall is a dog. 22 carries, 177 yards.
His first game where he performed. They got 3 running backs in that back room. They don't know who to pick. Robert Saleh is one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in my life. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants are not making the playoffs, which they're not.
We're not making the playoffs.
Which I agree, they're not. The Jets are also not making the playoffs. I'm not saying the
Jets are making the playoffs. I'm saying Nico at week 10.
And then you got Aaron Rodgers sitting in the background like, I'm going to play in the playoffs. You tore your Achilles, Aaron. Get off the ayahuasca. You're not playing. He's an idiot.
All I'm saying, Nico, is that by week 10, the Jets will be 500 or better. Let's come back to this.
I don't agree.
Let's come back.
I don't agree.
And we'll
talk about it next week.
We'll see who was right.
We'll talk about it next week after they lose by 50 to the Eagles.
I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles. Fair enough.
We'll talk. We'll see. Oh, this great defense.
But let's see Giants, Chargers, Raiders. Let's see then.
They're not going to beat all 3 teams.
I think they rattle off 3 in a row.
They're not. You want to talk? The AFC is strong. It's strong. They're in a division with the Dolphins and the Bills, who are 2 of the best teams in the league.
They already beat the Bills once.
The Chiefs, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Jaguars, who have been playing terrible, but we know they could be good. They made the playoffs.
They just got a good win against the Bills.
Right? The Colts. So where do we fit the Jets in there? If the Dolphins make the playoffs, if the Chiefs make the playoffs, if the Steelers make the playoffs, and if the
Steelers aren't making the playoffs,
they're leading. They're winning their division right now.
They're gonna fall apart. I'm just saying
as current standings, right? Let's just say Dolphins make the playoffs, Chiefs make the playoffs, Steelers make the playoffs, Jaguars make the playoffs, right? Those are all the 4 divisions, right?
And then when you got 3 wild cards, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
Yes, 5, 6, 7. Bills, Chargers, Ravens, Colts, right?
The Jets make it over the Chargers, dude. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You're giving the Chargers too much credit and the Jets defense not enough credit.
How can I not?
Well, how are you saying
Justin Herbert's a stud?
Okay, but can we say it's not so much? It's
they lost to the Dolphins by 2 points.
Okay, maybe
the Chargers lost to the Dolphins by 2 points.
I would have heard you after week 1. Okay, maybe the game against the Bills was a fluke. Josh Allen had a bad game, but the 2 best quarterbacks that the Jets have played this year, you're telling me now it's a coincidence twice that the 2 best quarterbacks had bad games against the Jets? Or maybe the Jets defense is just that good.
Come on. Stop, John. Week 1, you're going to tell me that Josh Allen didn't have a bad game and that wasn't the defense's fault? Josh Allen was chucking the ball up to no one.
3 picks is impressive.
He threw it 75 yards to no one, John. Are you agreeing with that or disagreeing with that? Because that's fact. Look at the tape. He threw it to no one.
Let's see where the Jets are.
I mean, I hate this. Everywhere I go, everyone's like, the Jets are coming. Zach Wilson has made up his mind. 2 weeks ago, people wanted to throw Zach Wilson into the Hudson River. What happened? He threw 4 completions. He threw 4 completions to Garrett Wilson, and they're like, he's back. He's a dog. Bring him back. Like, Zach Wilson is garbage. What are they gonna do? He's garbage.
Let's see, bro.
They want to pick up Kirk Cousins. They're looking at Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is terrible, and they want him. I'm sick and tired of all the Jet fans. Like, at least me as a Giant fan, I've realized we're terrible. Jet fans are always in their delusion. Jets, Mets, Ranger fans, they're always in their delusions about this is our year. Oh my God. At the beginning of the season, this is our year. Aaron Rodgers is going to bring us to the promised land. He takes 2 steps backwards and tears his Achilles. What happened? I mean, what do we expect? Jet fans are in their own mind. This is the year. This is the year. Oh my God, Mark Sanchez is going to bring us to the playoffs. No, he's not.
Hey.
No, he's not.
Back-to-back AFC championships, dude.
It was 1.
No, you're wrong.
It was 1.
It was back-to-back AFC championships.
Oh, no.
You want to bet?
Yeah.
Look it up on your computer right now. I think it was 09 and 2010. They made back-to-back AFC championships. And I think they ran into Tom Brady and Peyton Manning or Joe Flacco maybe one of those years. Like the legendary Ravens defense with 3 first ballot Hall of Famers on it. Okay. They made back-to-back AFC championships. I know they did. Maybe
they
you were a
did.
little too
They
young
did.
for that.
They
Yeah.
did. Maybe I was a little too
Maybe you're a
young.
little
Sorry,
too
I'm not
young for
28
that.
years old.
But yeah, so the Jets did make back-to-back
Okay,
AFC championships.
against. Oh, you were
Rex
wrong.
Ryan, dog.
You were wrong. It wasn't. It was against the Colts, which you were right about, and then Pittsburgh.
Okay, Ben Roethlisberger on another legendary defense.
Whose fault is that?
I'm just letting you know, like the
Whose
Jets.
fault
the
is
Jets
that?
Did make
They weren't good
back-to-back-
enough. Every Jet fan, they haven't won. They haven't won a Super Bowl since like 1903. What are you talking
Super Bowl
about?
III, yeah, Joe
They
Namath.
haven't. Joe Namath is 90
Dude,
years
but, okay,
old.
You're getting ahead of yourself, dude. I'm not talking about a Super Bowl. I'm just saying. All you
they're
have to
gonna make
take
the
away from
playoffs.
this. I
They're
didn't
gonna make
say
the
that.
play-
I didn't
Zach
say that.
Wilson, is going to drag
I
his
never
team
said
to the
that.
playoffs.
I never said that.
You have to score points,
all
correct?
I'm saying is,
John, do you have to
by-
score points to make the playoffs?
yeah. All I'm saying is by week 10, they're going to be 500.
Dude, what?
They're going to be 5-5. They're going to be 5-5.
If they beat the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Giants 3 straight weeks, which I don't think is going to happen, I can't.
If
wait.
they beat the
I
Giants,
can't wait.
Chargers,
James,
Raiders,
he's gonna
you
come-
got to wear a Jets jersey to
Absolutely
show.
not. No,
You got to wear a
Jets
Jets jersey. I'll get you one.
He's gonna come.
scared to make that bet?
It's gonna be Jets.
You
Giants,
scared to make
watch.
that bet?
Yes, he's gonna come in. We're gonna during Jets Giants. He's gonna.
Terrified.
He's gonna call me during Jets Giants. I guarantee you, John's gonna call me. I think we're gonna win this game. If we're up and the Giants are winning, he's like, I think we're gonna win this game. And then what are you gonna say? The Giants are back.
And I was wrong, and I'll take the L.
The Giants are
show.
back.
You can lay into me all you want. If
They
I'm
beat
wrong,
the Jets, who almost
I'll
beat the
own up to it.
Chiefs.
I'll own up to it. If I'm wrong, I'll
the
own up to it.
Jets, the big bad Jets, who almost beat the Chiefs and beat the Broncos.
And beat the Bills.
Week 1 doesn't
Week
matter.
one, week 1. Dude, talking about it like it's preseason over there.
It's
It
week
counts.
one.
It counts.
Okay, but then
Does it not count?
Josh Allen lost, then was like, "Oh wait, I remember how to throw the
I don't
football."
know,
And
he's
then won
cracked out of his mind. I
4
know,
straight
dude,
games.
crazy. All right.
They're the best
all
team in
right.
the league. They're in the same division as the 2 of the best teams in
So
the league.
just
Do
to
you
get it-
agree or do you
Just to
disagree?
get it for the record,
Here we go.
you're scared to make this bet.
I'm not
if-
scared. I'm not scared.
Okay.
I'm not scared, but I would never put on a Jets jersey. I can't do that to myself. I can't.
Terrified.
I
James
can't.
is terrified.
I will let you beat me up.
I don't want
let
to
you beat me up.
I
I
want to
won't-
see you
I won't-
wear a Jets jersey.
I won't put on a Jets jersey. I won't.
I'll get one of my dad's Jets jersey. I think
I
he's
won't
got a
put it
Mark
on.
Sanchez jersey.
I won't put
that
it
would
on.
look
Do I have to-
fabulous on you.
Would I have to wear it for the show?
Yeah, you have to wear it for the show.
If the Giants beat the Jets, if the Jets beat the Giants, or if they win 3 straight. If they win 3 straight, I'll do it. If they win 3,
If they win 3 straight,
all right. James
Giants,
says win 3 straight. Let's go.
Giants, Chargers, Raiders.
I'll put it on during the show. If
You gotta
they
wear it for the whole show.
win 3 straight. Bingo. Let's go.
right.
Deal.
Deal.
We have a view. Deal. I'll take that deal. Win 3 straight. I'll wear a Jets jersey right here.
Perfect. I love
And I
it.
can't put my computer to hide it. I have to wear it.
Yeah.
Fair.
Perfect.
They're not winning 3 straight.
All
That's
right,
how
we'll see.
confident I am.
We'll see.
The Jets are not good.
All right, we'll see. All right, moving on, folks. We only got about 15 minutes left. Nico's got to get to class. Oh, we actually have less than that. Thursday Night Football. I'll run it through you real quick. You got the 1-4 Denver Broncos versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Nico, I think this is going to be an ugly primetime game.
Yes.
Mahomes had a bad week against the Jets, but not really a great week either. They only beat they beat the Jets by 3 and then the Vikings by 7. Still wins, but like we're used to the Chiefs like blowing people out, right? So
they had a couple of rough weeks.
and also
they had a
Mahomes,
couple of rough weeks, but they also won the 3 straight games.
Mahomes,
I mean, everyone's talking like, oh, they only won by 3. They won games. They won 3 straight games.
yeah, you're right. I'm not arguing with you on that.
But like that's your Jet argument is my problem. Your Jet argument is like they almost beat the Chiefs. They almost beat the Chiefs.
Is there
They
nothing to be
lost.
had though from like putting up a good performance against
No,
the defending
you know why?
Super Bowl champions?
No, you know why?
you don't
Because
take
you
anything
lose.
away from that.
No, because you lose. Because you lost.
Dude, you're playing the defending Super Bowl champs.
But you lost.
Okay.
You didn't win. You lost.
But some of the things that they
Patrick
did
Mahomes-
worked.
Patrick Mahomes had his worst game of his career and still beat the Jets. The great Jets defense.
All right. We're not talking about the Jets anymore. We're talking about Thursday Night Football, dude.
Sorry,
We're talking about Thursday Night Football.
go.
Jesus. The Broncos' only win on the year has been against the Bears. They look terrible on both sides of the ball. Quick question for you. What's going on with Sean Payton over there in Denver? The Broncos traded a 1st and a 2nd round pick for him, and he talked a ton of smack about the previous coach that was there in Denver. And meanwhile, he's got a worse record through 5 weeks. So I think this is going to be an ugly Thursday night game. Who's to blame, Nico, in Denver? Is it Russell Wilson? Is it Sean Payton? What's going on
I think
over
it's
there?
Sean Payton. He talked way too much trash.
Yeah, he did.
Way too much
He was
trash. at the
really
beginning of the
bold.
season. Yeah, I mean
Really
with the
bold.
Jets too. He talked way too much trash, and I mean, Their defense is terrible.
They gave up a first and a second round pick to get this guy.
Their defense is terrible.
Yeah, man. It's
really
great.
not good. Their offense is all right, I guess. I mean, I don't even know. Like
They got Judy,
it's ugly.
Sutton, Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams has been hurt. He's probably not going to play
their
tonight.
backups are right. The McLaurin dude.
Yeah,
McLaughlin.
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 Yeah,
That's his name.
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. I think he's pretty. I mean, he's decent.
Yeah.
Nothing too much, and they have some Andre Pirine, but I don't think their offense is terrible, but their defense is very bad.
Yeah,
it's
right? I
really
know.
not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, like we saw them they lost by 50 against the Dolphins, but Dolphins are great.
Yeah.
But not even the Giants did that.
All
They're
right,
a pretty bad team.
So you think it's Sean Payton? All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I agree.
My score prediction, I think it's Chiefs 28, Broncos 14. Chiefs win by 2 scores. To keep in mind, a lot of injury, not a big names on the injury report. Travis Kelce is questionable. Definitely going to be a game time decision.
He'll play.
You think he'll play?
Because he came back in after the ankle thing.
Okay.
He did.
Greg
Last week he
Dulcich,
came
the
back
tight
in.
end for the Broncos, questionable. So we'll see if he plays.
Listen, no matter who plays, who doesn't play, Chiefs are going to win this game.
The Chiefs are going
to win this game.
Chiefs are gonna win this game.
Whoever thought this was a great idea of scheduling.
Final score prediction. I said mine's 28-14. And first touchdown score, Nico. Quick.
32-10.
Damn. Okay.
32-10. First
22.2.
touchdown, Isaiah
Pacheco? Okay, I said Kelce. I just think because it's prime time. Mahomes always looking at Kelce in prime time.
And
Kind
we
of
know
a
who's gonna
cliche
be
answer. Maybe that guy, if he doesn't play, I like Rashee Rice.
Is Tay going to be there?
Rashee Rice or John Ross.
Tay's going to be there?
John Ross. He was a beast at Clemson. And then kind of like injuries went off the map. But dude, he was a dog at Clemson. Maybe he gets his first touchdown tonight.
All right.
So that's all we got for this week. We got to get to class. We could get to some playoff baseball next week. If you haven't been following, the playoffs have been crazy. Underdog's been winning like crazy. A lot of weird sweeps. If you got nothing going on tonight, you don't feel like watching the football game. If the football game gets out of hand, Philly versus Braves tonight. That series has been electric. Bryce Harper, love the kid. It's going to be nuts. That's all we got for this week. I thought that was a really fun episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Same time. Peace out.
See ya.